Hi guys, how are you? I hope you're great. Today I'm super excited to be with you. This is part 2 of thinking about safe people. And it's super exciting because we're going to talk about how to become a safe person. So if you haven't checked out number 1, safe people, please do. I will link it below. But today I want to specifically talk about how we become those people because that's the goal. We want to be a safe person and we want to fill our life with safe people. So to start, if you're like, well, it's a safe person and why do you keep saying that? I'll just tell you that by safe people, I mean people that are trustworthy with your heart and your emotions and people that are with you, people that are on your team, people that are walking arm in arm with you. These are good influences. These are people that are pulling you towards truth and towards freedom, towards the abundant life. And again, I talk a lot more about how to discern those people and how it's not a judgment claim on if you identify, hey, maybe this person who's one of my closest friends, maybe I don't need to open up about this part of my life right now with her because it's not really going well. So I talk all about that in the first video. So check that out if you want. Today, I want to talk briefly about how to become a safe person. So let's get started. 4 simple steps. They're not easy, but they're simple. What I want you to do is, as I'm talking, ask God to help you realize where do you need to focus? Where do you want to focus more and really hone in on your skills in these areas? So number 1 is maybe you've already thought of it, it's listening more than you talk. Now I know that sounds silly, but it's hard sometimes. When a friend comes to you and is pouring out her heart, you might really want to talk. You have lots of good things to say and you might really relate, so you start talking about your own life. So here's the thing, in this moment, now if you're talking about groceries or just a random day at work, these things don't necessarily apply. These are for the meatier conversations in life. But if you have a friend who comes to you in a hard time, make it a priority to listen more than you talk. A little bonus tip that Joshua and I use all the time is a question. We just say to someone, Joshua's my husband, if I'm talking to him and I say, I'm pouring out my heart and I'm really overwhelmed, he says to me, do you want me to listen or do you want me to help problem solve? Right? Mind blowing. Because here's the thing, sometimes we really just want comfort and compassion and someone to hug us and listen while we cry. And other times I'm really confused and Joshua's an amazing listener, but I need his help with like logistical, literal steps. So as you listen to your friend, maybe just check in with her. Hey, would you prefer me to listen here? Or are you asking my advice? Are you asking me to help? Because it's really important that we, in becoming a safe person, don't get that wrong. Obviously there's grace if we do, but it's super helpful on the front end if we just clarify, like, what are your expectations here? How can I best serve you as your friend in this moment? So that's number 1. Listen more than you talk and check in before you offer advice or you start problem solving for that person's life. Number 2 is focusing on them. So here's the thing. In your closest friendships, every conversation you have doesn't have to be like shared weight. Every lunch you go to, every day you spend together, if one whole day is just about them, that's okay. If one whole phone call is just about you, that's okay. If someone is coming to you, the way to be a safe person in that moment is to focus on them, to focus on their life and to lay down your day and everything going on in your life. They really need you right then. Now, of course, if the relationship is always out of balance, then it's probably not the safest relationship in the first place, as we've kind of talked about in the first video. Okay, that's number 2. Focus on them if they're coming to you. Number 3 is to maintain your boundaries. So I'm making some videos on boundaries. Check those out. I love talking about boundaries. Boundaries have been life-changing for me to grow in. By boundaries, I mean where you begin and where you end. So my life, my thoughts, my emotions, my relationship with God, my marriage, my family, my work, those are mine. And if a friend is talking about something in their life about any of those categories, I can feel compassion and engage and open my heart to her without getting sucked in, making those my problems, staying up all night problem solving, taking things into my own hands. That's not appropriate because that's her life. So again, I'm going to talk more about that. Check out those videos. But basically, it's just not helpful if you lose your sense of self while you're trying to help a friend, because then no one can be helped, right? I think that makes sense. Number 4, speeding right along, is hold everything said to you in complete confidence. So if someone shares something with you, just right now decide you're never going to speak about other people if it's questionable. If someone's telling you a funny story or something, of course they don't care if you tell your spouse. But if your closest friend tells you something, she might not want your husband to know. Or if your sister tells you something, she might not want your mom or dad to know. And that's okay. The whole thing is that until you have permission, so if you want to tell someone, like maybe one friend tells you something and you know this other friend really wants to be praying for her too, it's still not your business. You are not at the liberty to share that thing until you ask. You could just say to that first friend, I would love so-and-so to also be praying with us about this. Would you be okay with me telling her? And if you feel uncomfortable even asking, would you be okay with me telling her? You probably have your answer, but it's always just a good thing. Ask before you share that because it's not your information to share. Okay, that's it. To recap, listen more than you talk, focus on them, maintain your boundaries, and hold everything in confidence until you have permission otherwise. So take a minute right now when this video turns off and ask the Lord, where do you want me to focus? Where can I grow today to become a more safe person? That's it. Please, it would be so helpful if you could leave any questions or comments below, like, share, subscribe. Again, I'm gonna add more videos on boundaries, and be sure and check out that first video on safe people. Okay, have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.